Shalom, all praise to Yahawashi, Yahawashi. This topic I'm going to today is the prophecy of Yahawashi, giving the prophecy of the desolation of Jerusalem in 70 AD. And we're going to start off in the book of Luke 21 and 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Jerusalem flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the country enter into. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. So the Lord said, then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. He was letting them know to go to West Africa, starting off with Egypt and Carthage and many different other various cities in that area. He was just telling them to leave Jerusalem because it's going to be destroyed. This is 25. It's saying, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars upon the earth, distress of nations, which perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So he was basically giving them signs. He said it's going to be signs, man, in the moon. So let's go into Babylon to Timbuktu to prove it historically. Babylon to Timbuktu. This is page 84. It's saying, in the year of 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrage and atrocity were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it had been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jew slaves. So that's the prophecy the Lord told them to flee into the mountains, which is West Africa from Jerusalem. So now let's go into the book of Josephus, the complete works of Josephus, and let's prove it more in here. This is the War of the Jews, page book 6 and page chapter 5 and verse 3. It says, thus were the miserable people persuaded by these deceivers, and such as belied God himself, while they did not attend nor give credit to the signs that was in the book of Luke, the 25th verse. It say that were so invited and did so plainly foretell their future desolation, but like men infatuated without their eyes to see or mind to consider. So they ain't even consider. It say did not regard the annunciation that God made to them. Thus there was a star resembling a sword which stood over the city, and the comet that continued a whole year. Thus also before the Jews' rebellion and before those commentation which preceded the war, when the people were coming in great crowds to the feast of unleavened bread on the 8th day of the month of Nisan. So Nisan is like April. It's saying, and at the 9th hour of the night, so great a light shone around the altar and the holy house that it appeared to be bright daytime, which light lasted for half an hour. This light seemed to be a good sign to the unskillful. So, because they didn't know, they didn't understand the signs. The dummies thought it was something that the Lord was doing good. You know what I'm saying? It say, but was so interpreted by the scare scribes. So let me jump down a little bit. It's saying, Moreover, the eastern gate of the inner court of the temple, which was of brass and vastly heavy, and had been with difficulty shut by 20 men. So it took 20 men just to shut the gate. And rest upon the bias armed with iron, and had bolts fastened very deep into the firm floor, which was there made of one entire stone, which seemed to be open of its own according about the 6th hour of the night. It say, now those that kept watch in the temple came here upon running to the captain of the temple and told him of it, who then came up thither, and not without great difficulty was able to shut the gate. This also appeared to the vulgar to be a very happy